Tell you what, that scene though, really, I mean, that scene is so great because you run into these characters that are just insane, but at the same time, it really pays off because you see Steve Carell do his presentation, and it's honestly it's pretty damn funny. It really won me over.
And by that time, like with the other scene, you actually you genuinely feel for him, whereas before you didn't. You just this guy is too stupid to live, and I want him out of my life, and I want him out of this film. And if I can't get him out of this film, then I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. This guy is a danger to everybody. On top of that, this guy takes dead mice and does taxidermy on them and puts them in little suits. We know that anybody in the movie who does taxidermy, they're psychopaths. There's human bodies somewhere not far in reach.
Now, there's legitimate taxidermy places all over.
There's one down your street
here. Do you know any of those guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you friends with those guys?
I don't trust taxidermists, much less retarded taxidermists.
How do you feel about embalmers and funeral directors?
Yeah. They're cool.
Corey's going to have himself turned into a ventriloquist dummy.
We're going to get at least one person on the comments going, "Fuck you, I'm a taxidermist."
I have to say, I'm a taxidermist, and I've never stuffed but only one human being in my life.
Crew has no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
My mother's propped up in my room, and she keeps me company every day.
What's that, mother?
I want to stuff all those assholes.
Write a comment, son.
So what you're saying as far as dinner for Shmucks goes, have the appetizer and the dessert skip the main course.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yes, that's it exactly.
Because I will tell you, like, in the middle of it, that's what really pissed me off, is that there was no connecting point or a connection of points that led to what this dinner was, because that's what I wanted to see.
You're absolutely right.
The movie just stopped and just said, you know what, we're just going to do a bunch of unfunny, stupid gags because we don't know what else to do at this point.
Because when it starts, you're like, okay, well, from the trailers, this looked like a terrible and kind of ugly premise for a film. You are kind of selling me on this being maybe an interesting character movie. But then it turns into a typical Jay Roach film. Like, we're not even fucking trying. It's just a series of set pieces of the same old, basically Jerry Lewis type of stuff going on.
Well, this is based on a French film. What's it called? Yeah, the Dinner Game.
Imagine if you could take out the entire middle.
Yeah, it was made. Yeah, this movie was made back. It was a play called The Dinner Game, made back in 1998. And when I looked that up and saw it, I was like, all those Jerry Lewis loving motherfuckers, of course they would love some shit like this.
And I can tell you another reason to have been worried about it was like this title, Dinner for Schmucks. They almost came up with that at the last minute. It was titled something else for a long time.
Because it is so many things other than that dinner.
Lunch for assholes?
Wasting my fucking time is what it should have been called.
Breakfast for douchebags?
Dinner for shitheads.
Because, let me give you an example of one of the scenes that means nothing. We mentioned, what's his name? Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Steve Carell's boss at the IRA. They go there. It doesn't even make any sense. I mean, the IRA, that's the Irish Republican Army.
That would have been a better movie.
Hey, you know what? They might as well at this point. What difference would it make?
It was a dark movie, all right?
I can tell you that, like, that is one of the biggest payoffs that, like, you think, like, that was just a dumb scene, but it really ties.
Well, let me tell you what the scene's about. Yeah, they go. That's his boss at the IRS, and they go there, and they just waste this about 5-minute scene on Zach Galifianakis looking at Steve Carell saying, "I can control your mind. Say you love the pudding. Say you love the pudding." Now, to be granted, I didn't see what the payoff of that joke was. I don't know if that was like some foreshadowing or something great.
It was. And you almost forget like a lot of the details of that scene, but they really do work it later.
Okay, it does. That's why I'm not giving a rating here. I'm not saying anything. It just caught me at a bad point. I was upset at the theater because it was filmed in shittle-vision.
Look, I mean, I'll just come out with it. You know, you got the first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes that are you know, a good solid matinee.
Okay.
And then you got an hour in between that's some old bullshit.
So how does that work out?
So I would just average it as a rental.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm going to go with the rental too because despite the big mess that was that middle part, you know, a lot of things do pay off with that last scene.
Yeah.
With the big dinner scene, and it had me rolling over laughing. That entire scene. I mean, there's a woman in there who's like a psychic who can read what dead animals were saying before they died, and it during that dinner scene with the lobsters, I was cracking up. I mean, and just that ventriloquist that in itself could have been its own movie.
It could have.
I mean, honestly.
Don't say that out loud, man. You know there's already an executive going, we should put Jeff Dunham
in
his
should, because it would have been a great idea. It'd be a great idea.
The Carrot Top movie.
I've been seeing Jeff Dunham in a lot of things, just doing cameos. He was on 30 Rock, and clearly he's got like a new agency that's trying to push him and get him out.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham he's had a lot of things. He had a show on Comedy Central, which was actually not all that funny.
No, I've never I liked the guy in this movie, and man, that guy was awesome. I was talking to somebody afterwards. I was like, I would go see this guy. I wish I knew who he was.
Well,
that was Jeff Dunham. I was like, what?
Yeah, if you haven't seen Jeff Dunham, you might have seen him and didn't know his name. He has Peanut, the little purple creature that nobody knows about. He has to talk in jalapeno. He has the terrorist who's
terrible.
He also has a terrorist that blew himself up and is a skeleton now.
Okay, you just sold me on that.
Yeah. No, I've actually seen Jeff Dunham stand up, which makes me feel like, fuck, I wish I could have seen the Jeff Dunham part of this movie. I actually think he's really funny.
He was funny in this movie. I mean, I'd never heard the guy, and he won me over at the end of this film.
Yeah. So, what would you give it, co-host?
I gave it a rental. Like I said, the first part of it works, and the last part, despite the mess. But I mean, I honestly, even during those messy scenes, every once in a while there was a joke that just made me really laugh. And I'm not going to try to deny that. I'm sorry. I laugh at stupid shit a lot of times, but I know there was enough of it to really just keep me interested. And Steve Carell actually. This is his Office character times 10. So if you like that and you want more of that, you may dig it. If not, I mean, because I thought the times when he was being at least genuine and just, when he was basically telling everybody I cared about somebody at one point, that's where he won me over in this movie. It didn't totally make me.
Office and how clueless he is.
It didn't totally make me hate his character in this film, actually.
So you only kind of hated his character in this film?
Up until that one humanizing scene, absolutely hated him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not as soft-hearted as you guys, but I can't imagine they could have done anything that could have recovered from what they had already shown him. The guy that not only was fucking up this other guy's life, but refused to even take responsibility for fucking up this guy's life. I hate that shit. He's like, yeah, I just broke up your house and hooked you up with your crazy ex-girlfriend and did all this shit. But you know what? It's not really my fault. It's totally you.
It makes me wonder, how many retarded children do you have buried in your backyard?
Shit, I'm digging some new spots tonight.
Well, you think about it, all the misfits that Corey takes in, at some point they disappear. We never hear from them again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like nobody knows where Raymond is right now.
I haven't seen him.
Oh no! Best dinner ever.